Prime Minister attends successful EU CELAC summit. New development announced as PM opens 2015 Diaspora Conference now underway in St. James. And new St. Catherine Custos gets a vote of confidence from the Prime Minister. I'm Stacey Ann Smith with Jamaica House Weekly. The long-awaited diaspora policy will soon be submitted to Cabinet, paving the way for greater contributions by Jamaicans living abroad. Prime Minister Portia Simpson-Miller made the announcement Sunday as she opened the biennial Diaspora Conference in Montego Bay. She said the policy represented input from the diaspora, which seeks to increase their contribution while addressing their concerns.
The diaspora policy will also focus on engaging our people overseas in key areas of social and economic policy planning.
And before the conference, the Prime Minister led a delegation to Brussels, Belgium, to participate in a summit between the European Union and the Community of Latin American and Caribbean States. It was held over 2 days last week. As the region's leading foreign investor and its second largest trading partner, talks with the EU centered on international issues and development. At the two plenary sessions, the 61 heads of state and government discussed climate change, security, drug trafficking, and issues relating to the post-2015 development agenda. Following those discussions, Prime Minister Simpson-Miller joined her CELAC counterparts in signing a joint agreement with the EU. The transatlantic powers will now increase cooperation in the areas of migration, drug trafficking, poverty reduction, and climate change. The EU has also agreed to provide €800 million in support for the Caribbean and Latin American region. Of that amount, €346 million will go towards funding Caribbean programs up to 2020. The Caribbean will also benefit from €118 million in funding for strategic investment projects, €230 million towards sustainable development programs, and $81.5 million to finance capacity building initiatives. And of the €800 million, €25 million will go towards the construction of a new fiber optic cable connecting Latin America and the European Union. On Thursday morning, Mrs. Simpson-Miller participated in a retreat where she voiced Jamaica's concern about the designation of some developing countries as middle-income countries. This effectively bars them from getting funding for development and economic support. She also called for greater levels of development financing for developing countries. By Thursday afternoon, Prime Minister Simpson-Miller joined a meeting between the EU and the CARIFORUM group of countries. She also held bilateral talks with the Prime Ministers of Spain and Sweden, where the countries viewed areas of cooperation and sought to identify additional areas to pursue. And while Prime Minister Portia Simpson-Miller was away at the EU CELAC summit, Land and Environment Minister Robert Pickersgill served as acting Prime Minister. Minister Pickersgill represented Mrs. Simpson-Miller at a ceremony to install Reverend Jeffrey Mackenzie as the new Custos of St. Catherine.
The Prime Minister has every confidence in the abilities and suitability of the new Custos of St. Catherine to assume this high office and to make us all proud. His earning of the respect of the people in several communities in St. Catherine has been achieved through consistent hard work and a social consciousness that always goes beyond the call of duty.
At Thursday's ceremony, Reverend Mackenzie also received the Magistrate's Roll, containing the names of the 612 Justices of the Peace in St. Catherine. And that's how we close out Jamaica House Weekly. Join us next time for the latest stories out of the office of the Prime Minister.